Okay, if you're just joining me, sorry, had to fix the microphone there. We are tracking some intense thunderstorms moving through the region. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Ballard County, the eastern part, parts of Massac County, mainly central and eastern part, and snipping southern Polk County, part of Livingston County as well. Primary concern with these thunderstorm cells that you see moving towards Joppa, Metropolis, Paducah, Lone Oak. Very heavy rain, torrential rainfall today. Some of these storms are producing 1 to 2 inches of rain per hour. That could briefly flood roadways. And we also have some gusty winds with them, nothing too serious. And we haven't received any reports of severe weather yet from these storms. But earlier, as they moved through the Cairo area, Alexander County, I suspect they did produce some quarter-sized hail, so they could still produce hail. We also have a tornado watch in effect, although the tornado risk is fairly low today, not a zero risk. But that tornado watch covers extreme southern Illinois, far southeast Missouri, west Kentucky, and northwest Tennessee. And you can see, if I animate this, you can see the thunderstorms are mainly moving east-northeast at about 30 miles per hour. So they are moving along, but again, they are producing gully washers where they move over, just torrential downpours and some gusty winds. Radar is not showing too much in the way of wind, but there are some wind signatures here in these brighter color greens you see here moving towards the airport, Barkley Regional Airport, moving towards Paducah, out of Ballard County. And again, I haven't received any reports of severe weather yet, but they could produce some gusty winds. Also, we have a severe thunderstorm warning up here for portions of Union, Jackson, let's see here, Williamson County, and northern Johnson County as well. If I zoom in here, you can see the heaviest storms are now past McKanda, but moving towards, let's see here, Goreville area, some high winds. We just got a new severe thunderstorm warning. Let me see what Paducah's doing on that. Severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Union, Pope, Johnson, Williamson, and Saline. Let me send that out on the app alert. And this is going to be for mainly damaging wind and maybe some hail mixed in there with the new severe thunderstorm warning. Let's see if that includes part of Jackson County. It does not. So that severe thunderstorm warning will run until 2:45 p.m. and it's going to be radar indicated for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail. That one would be for Vienna, Goreville, Lake of Egypt area, Dixon Springs, Stone Fort, New Burnside, Buncombe, Simpson, that area. That will be the new warning. Let me bring that up here on the screen. And you can see it there in that little orange box. That's going to be the new severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued. And we see those bright bluish tinted colors west of Buncombe, Illinois. Those are some very strong winds west of Goreville. So I would not be surprised, based on some reports earlier, that this is producing 50-mile-per-hour winds or greater, again, moving into Buncombe area and Goreville. We zoom out a little bit. We take a look at the rest of radar. We have some thunderstorms in southeast Missouri, but right now they are not severe. We have some thunderstorms in northwest Tennessee. One of those is severe, and that's going to clip eastern portions of Henry County, and that's moving northeast. And here we can see here northwest Tennessee is what we're looking at. The warning does not include Paris, but Big Sandy, Camden area, Mansfield. If you're camping in any of these areas, you'll want to make sure you move to a shelter or a safer location or away from trees. These storms are moving northeast, and they could produce quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. We zoom back out again, and we look at the severe thunderstorm warning for Ballard County. It looks like the worst of it's moved out of Ballard. Still some heavy rain, though, but the main area of wind is showing up, and I'm not seeing a strong signal, but some gusty winds in McCracken County, west of the airport, nearing Metropolis now. You see these bright colors here, purple colors just west of Metropolis. Zoom in here, and you can see those very heavy rain. You go from no rain at all to just a torrential downpour. So that's about to move over I-24, and that's going to produce very low visibility as it moves through, and could briefly flood some roadways, ponding on roadways especially. Zoom back out, and that is that severe thunderstorm warning box. You can see here parts of Massac County, clipping Polk County, part of Livingston County, small part of Livingston County and McCracken County. And those storms continue to move east-northeast. Let's see, we got a new severe weather statement. They did cancel the warning for southeastern Jackson County, Illinois, but the warning does continue for Union, Johnson, and Williamson counties in southern Illinois. And we just looked at those storms. Some very heavy rain in Marion, but you are not under a severe thunderstorm warning in Marion. That is, the warning box is south of Marion, and you can see that here, if you can see that orange box. So moving towards Goreville, some heavy wind, Buncombe area, some gusty winds. We haven't received any reports of severe weather from these storms, but this is all radar indicated, some nickel, maybe quarter-size hail, and then some gusty winds. We did have a storm similar move through Murray earlier that had wind signatures like this, and it had about 40, 45 mile per hour winds with it. Okay, I'm just checking chat, see if there's any questions. So we pull back out here, and we do see numerous showers and thunderstorms. This is a mesoscale complex that developed in Oklahoma and Kansas last night and made its way all the way across Missouri and Arkansas, and now moving through our region, and even a lot of new, smaller thunderstorm cells. That's why the tornado watch was issued. I'm not overly concerned about numerous tornadoes or anything like that today, or long track tornadoes, but there could be one or two tornadoes develop out of these cells. There's a little bit of spin in the atmosphere, not a lot, but a little bit of spin in the atmosphere, and some of these storms could tap into that and produce a brief tornado, probably EF0, EF1 on the weaker end. Is what's anticipated, but most of the storms will produce torrential rain, some pea to dime size hail, and maybe some gusty winds. So let's look at the warnings one more time. We have this one warning in northwest Tennessee that clips Henry County for this line of storms that's moving northeast. Then we have a severe thunderstorm warning for eastern Ballard, parts of McCracken, central and eastern Massac County. It just barely clips southern Polk County, and then barely clips Livingston County. We'll see if they reissue this warning, as the storms are about halfway through that warning box right now. And again, let me check National Weather Service chat, see if there's been any reports. There have not been any severe weather reports. Even as the storm went over the airport, I don't see any reports of damaging winds. So a lot of these warnings, they're radar indicated, meaning that we don't have any spotter reports of severe weather. But radar shows that the storms could produce isolated pockets of damaging wind and some small hail. So if you are in any of the warning boxes, you want to move indoors, of course, and wait for the storms to pass. And they are moving along, so that's the good news, because they're producing torrential rainfall. And we see here this area of severe thunderstorm warning boxes, kind of two of them. For parts of Williamson, Johnson, Jackson has been removed from it. Still parts of Union County, northeast Union County. So the heaviest storms are in this purple zone here, Pulley's Mill near Goreville, just now moving into Buncombe. So some of these are producing strong wind gusts, a little bit of a Boeing signature there west of Creel Springs. So that could produce some pockets of strong winds. And of course, it's summertime, so the trees are fully leaved. So it doesn't take much to bring down a few tree limbs and power outages as well if you get a few tree limbs down. But we're not seeing anything that really stands out to me as considerable severe. These are lower end severe thunderstorm warnings right now, meaning 60 mile per hour wind gust, maybe some quarter-size hail. We did have several reports of pea-size hail today, but we haven't had any reports of large hail today. So this isn't like the storm systems that moved through in March and April. This is more of a typical June severe weather event where we get some pockets of damaging wind and lots of moisture in the atmosphere. The atmosphere is usually juiced during the summer months, so it doesn't take much to get an inch or two of rain. So we just pull out here and see numerous thunderstorms in the region, some here in far southeast Missouri, a few here in northwest Tennessee, a band of them in western Kentucky moving northeast, and then we have this line. This is what's left of that mesoscale complex that moved through Missouri and Arkansas earlier, now moving into Illinois. Let me just switch over here just to radar, and you can see all of the thunderstorms and all animated. You can see them moving off to the northeast. Earlier they were moving more eastward, so they're moving more east-northeast about 30-35 miles per hour. So that's the good news. They're moving along because they are producing torrential rain. So we have a couple of warnings. We don't have any tornado warnings right now. We do have a tornado watch for extreme Illinois, western Kentucky, northwest Tennessee, and far southeast Missouri. But overall, the tornado risk is fairly limited today. This isn't an outbreak of tornadoes, and we're expecting maybe one or two or a couple tornadoes possible, brief and lower end EF0, EF1. Of course, any tornadoes can cause damage, so we don't want to downplay, the threat. If a tornado were to form, obviously you need to seek shelter if a tornado warning was issued. But right now we just have some severe thunderstorm warnings, and we have that one south of Marion. You are not in it. The area that was hit by the tornado, though, very close to the severe thunderstorm warning, that area was hit a month ago or so with an EF4 tornado, if you remember. So some of the people in that area are probably very hyper aware of weather right now, and any warning is a concern to them. And we see this purple zone here. That's the heaviest area of showers and thunderstorms, and that is producing some torrential rain, probably 1 to 2 inches of rain in about 30 minutes, and probably producing some strong wind gusts. I'll switch over to velocity, and I'm not seeing any strong signatures for wind. I did notice this area right here. Sometimes we get these little line segments that can spin up a short-lived tornado, but not seeing strong rotation or anything. But I did notice on radar we had this little segment right there, so we'll keep an eye on that. And that's south of Goreville. Buncombe area, line of storms moving through. You've got some heavy rain back here, so it will take a little bit of time to move through Goreville, Pulley Mill, Buncombe area, Vienna, it's on your way. Cypress, storms are approaching your area. And then we still have heavy rain back here in Olin, Tams, Jonesboro. But this area, Dongola, Jonesboro, Dongola, Mill Creek, Olin, Tams, these are not severe at this time, just some heavy downpours. And we move back over here and we look at this new storm that's starting to develop in northern Livingston County. It could produce some hail and strong winds. It's moving off to northeast. No warning on it yet, but we'll keep an eye on it. Let's switch over to the hail and see if it's showing. Yeah, it is. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a severe thunderstorm warning for this storm moving through northern Livingston County, and it will be moving northeast, probably stay south of Elizabethtown. But if you're near Midway, Marion, Salem, just north of there perhaps, there we go. We just got a severe thunderstorm warning on it. And it looks like they did include Elizabethtown in that. It is moving northeast, so we'll see if it clips Elizabethtown. In that storm, the main concern with it will be strong wind gusts and maybe quarter-size hail, because that's a pretty good hail signature on it. That new severe thunderstorm warning will cover parts of Pope, Hardin, Crittenden, and Livingston County, and that will run until 3 p.m., and that will include Rosiclare, Golconda, Joy, Berna, Caven Rock, Elizabethtown, Carsville, and Gross area. And again, that's mainly for hail. So we show you that hail signature again, that purple zone right there. That's a pretty decent hail signature. Would not be surprised if it was dropping isolated quarter-size hail south of Golconda. And you can see that new warning box here, and that does include Rosiclare, Elizabethtown. We'll zoom in a little bit. Irma, Carsville, Joy, Lola. Just Hampton area might move just north of there with the hail, and maybe some strong winds. Let me take a look at the wind signature on it, and not a lot of wind signature with it, but anytime you have a hail core like that, you can have downburst winds that can quickly bring down a couple of tree limbs or even a tree, and power outages as well. Switch back over to the reflectivity. I'll show you the rain. Let's see here. I think they're going to clip part of that warning in Ballard, and I'm going to send out an app update. If you're not subscribed to the app, go to weathertalk.com and you'll get my app alerts. I'm getting ready to send out an alert on that storm. And let's see what they're going to do with that. Ballard and Carlisle County was removed from the warning, but it does continue for parts of Pope, Massac, McCracken, and Livingston counties. And let's see here what else the Weather Service is saying about that storm. Mainly 60 mile per hour and quarter-size hail with it. They did tag it with a tornado possible. Sometimes they do that out of precaution. And let's take a look at that storm. So there it is. This is the new warning box for parts of Massac. The storm is about over in Metropolis. Worst of it is east of you, so the concern there will soon end. Worst is past Barkley Regional Airport. The mall is past there. It's downtown Paducah right now, moving into southern Pope, and this is just very heavy rain, maybe some strong wind gusts as well. And I switch over to the wind, and they're showing some 40, 50 mile per hour winds in it, maybe 60 mile per hour. They did tag it with tornado possible, so that just means we need to keep an eye on it. If you're in the warning box, which barely clips Livingston, southern Pope, eastern Massac County, and northeastern McCracken, just move to a safer place indoors until the storm passes. We also have that other cell we continue to watch in northern Livingston County, and it is continuing to move northeast, and that one may have some quarter-size hail with it and strong wind gusts. And then we have the other warning up here, south of Marion, Illinois, still moving through Creel Springs, approaching Vienna, and this one could have strong wind gusts as well. So we have several storms to watch, and we still have that storm clipping Henry County, Tennessee as well. So let's see here. And let me see if you have any questions. So once this line of storms moves through, some of you are asking what happens when this line moves through. We still have a chance of showers and thunderstorms tonight, tomorrow night, and maybe even Sunday. But once this line moves through, we believe the severe weather threat will be diminished. So once you get past this line, for example, Carbondale is past it, Chester, Perryville, just some rain in those areas, the severe weather risk should be over. So some of you are asking about 7 o'clock tonight. Yes, it will be out of here by then. We'll have to see if any additional storms do pop up overnight. Let me see if you have any other questions. So if you're in Marion, Illinois right now, so you still got some time before this storm is over if you're headed towards Goreville. Very heavy downpours. I would wait until the torrential downpours end before you head out, because they're very limited, low visibility. We're getting reports of less than 1/2 mile visibility, quarter mile visibility in these heavy downpours. So you see me zooming into Marion, Illinois here. Here's Goreville. You want to travel from Marion to Goreville. It's probably best if you just wait a little bit longer, another 15, 20 minutes, let the heaviest rain pass. Getting ready to send out another alert here. So give me just a moment to do that. That was a severe weather update from Northwest Tennessee, the Henry County storm. Severe thunderstorm warning continues for that area. In Henry County, I do cover in Northwest Tennessee. So that's a radar indicated for 60 mile per hour wind gust. Okay, let me check your questions here. So we do have a tornado watch for far southern Illinois, West Kentucky, Northwest Tennessee, and parts of southeast Missouri. But overall, the tornado risk is fairly limited. Just keep that in mind today. We could have 1 or 2 tornadoes develop. Let me zoom back out here. Let me zoom back into the Paducah storm and the one moving through northern Livingston County and check the velocities on it. Again, it's not seeing any rotation, but some strong wind gusts are possible, and the Weather Service did tag this Massac County, Pope, Livingston, and McCracken County with tornado possible. So they're just sort of watching it. There's not a strong indication of a tornado, but that doesn't mean one can't form. There's a little bit of spin in the atmosphere today, so we're keeping an eye on that. Let's look at these storms down here in Graves County, and we see one north of the city. Graves already had very heavy rain earlier. Mayfield had some flooding, some road flooding, 1.5 inches of rain in less than an hour. And we see a couple of heavy cells, one north of Mayfield, one near Farmington, and we'll keep an eye on those. Let me switch over to the velocity. Maybe some gusty winds with those. And then we have another storm moving into Callaway County. These aren't severe right now, but they are producing heavy rain. and then some additional storms in far south Illinois, Ballard County, and far southeast Missouri. None of these are severe right now either, but they are producing torrential rainfall. And we can see over here in the Hopkinsville area just some rain. Northwest Kentucky, nothing right now, but all of this is moving your way. And we move up to Mount Vernon, no severe weather concerns up here. Carmi right now, no severe concerns at this time. Mount Vernon, Benton, this is just some rain on the back end of our mesoscale complex, a complex of thunderstorms that moved out of Kansas and Oklahoma and is now moving through our region. So the severe weather threat, not concerned. Jefferson County, Illinois, back here in the Randolph, St. Genevieve. Believe the threat is probably over in Bollinger County. We'll watch that. A few storms forming back here near Poplar Bluff, but nothing severe right now. The most intense storms on our radar right now are the ones near Creel Springs, New Burnside, moving into Simpson, north of Vienna. Very heavy rain, quarter-mile visibility in this, maybe some hail, and some strong gusty winds. So far, we've received no reports of severe weather. Let me check the Weather Service chat and don't see any reports of severe weather yet. So we've had several warnings today, but no reports. That's a good sign. We're not getting any widespread severe weather. We're not getting a lot of reports of trees down or power lines. We've had no reports of large hail. So even though we have some warnings, we've received no significant reports so far, and it's daytime, so we would expect if there was damaging wind ongoing or large hail, we would receive 1 or 2 reports of that, but we're not. So far, this is a low-end event. Some severe thunderstorm warnings are being issued, but we're not receiving a lot of reports of damage. So we just keep an eye on it. We got a new severe weather statement. This is going to be for the Creel Springs and Vienna storm. Let's see what the Weather Service is saying. I think they're just severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 2:45 for southeastern Union. It looks like northwestern Pope, much of Johnson County, southeastern Williamson, and Saline. So that was a storm we were looking at a while ago. A severe thunderstorm line extended from Lake of Egypt area to near Vienna to 6 miles north of Karnak. And it's moving east at 30 miles per hour. And the main concern, again, 60 mile per hour wind gusts with it. We haven't received any reports of that, but that is radar indicated. We haven't had any spotter reports yet. So we'll continue to monitor what the spotters are seeing, but so far these are radar indicated warnings. And no tornado warnings have been issued today. So that's the good news, even though we have a tornado watch. Again, overall, the threat of tornadoes is fairly limited. It's not a zero risk, but we're not looking at like what happened in March and April. We had these big outbreaks of damaging wind, big hail, even grapefruit-sized hail in Ballard County from that one storm a few weeks ago, and we had numerous tornadoes. That's not what today is. This is a typical June event where we get scattered severe thunderstorms with damaging winds. So we're going to zoom out on radar and catch you up here. We do have that tornado watch for extreme southern Illinois, West Kentucky, far southeast Missouri, and northwest Tennessee for a few more hours. Once this line moves through, that's the main concern. Let's check your reports real quick. So Metropolis getting some heavy rain. I don't see any other questions. Okay, so we're zooming out on radar here, and let's see if I can bring up my camera real quick. Maybe. I can bring it up. It's taking up part of the radar. So we've zoomed out here, and you can see on radar right now, we're looking at numerous thunderstorms in the region. Again, we've received no reports of severe weather, but we've had several warnings. And we look first to southern Illinois. Again, if you're in Fairfield, Mount Vernon, Benton, Herring, Carbondale, no severe weather concerns. Chester, Perryville, Jackson, Missouri, no severe weather concerns. Cape Girardeau, not concerned about severe weather right now. But if you're ahead of these intense thunderstorms, you can expect very heavy rain from them, quarter-mile visibility or less, isolated damaging wind potential, and maybe some nickel to at most quarter-sized hail. We did receive some reports today of pea-sized hail, and we've had some reports of 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts, but we've had no reports of wind damage or large hail yet. I'm just going to check the Weather Service chat, and nothing there. So right now we're looking at the most intense storms moving towards New Burnside, Simpson, and Vienna, Illinois. This area here, heavy rain in Buncombe right now. Heavy rain, no doubt, in New Burnside in that area. It's past Goreville, still raining in Goreville, still raining in Jonesboro, Dongola, Ola, and Tams, but the severe weather threat there for now has ended, just some rain. The most intense storms are the ones you see right here, and that's why the Weather Service did issue a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Johnson, Pope, Saline, Williamson counties. There's no warning right now for Cypress, Belknap, or Carnap, but this is some heavy rain moving in and probably some gusty winds. We still have a little bit of that warning left for Massac, Pope, Northeast McCracken, Clipping, Livingston County, and then another warning for the rest of Livingston County. This is the northern part of Livingston County, into portions of southern Illinois, maybe Elizabethtown, Rosaclare. We're watching that area. The heaviest part of the storm may stay just south of there. You can see the warning box here, and here's your heaviest thunderstorm moving through right now. And it is moving northeast at about 30 miles per hour. So that severe thunderstorm warning, just getting some new information here. That severe thunderstorm warning moving through northern Livingston County, about to move into Crittenden County, and then, of course, portions of Hardin County. But this is the most intense area. Let's switch back over real quick to hail. Earlier, that had a strong hail signature with it, and I'm not sure if it still does. See if I can get hail to switch over here. Not getting the hail to switch over, so we'll keep it on reflectivity and see if I can switch to velocity. Let me refresh the page because it's not switching over, and I need it to switch over. And make sure we didn't lose Paducah radar there. Okay. I may have to switch. I may have to switch radars if I can't get it to pull up. For some reason, I've lost reflectivity on it. Switch to a different radar. All right. I will switch over to my other radar. And let me switch it on your screen. Okay, we'll switch over to this. It's not quite as easy to read, so I would prefer to get the other one back up and running. There we go. I got it back up and running. Technology. There we go. All right, so I switched over to wind on this one, on this northern Livingston County storm, and we're not really seeing too much. With some gusty winds with it and maybe some hail. And we'll move back down here to the Massac County storm. We're about to lose the warning in McCracken County, just snips far northeast McCracken County and part of Livingston County and Pope and far eastern Massac. So Metropolis, you're out of the warning now. Downtown Paducah, just barely still within the warning. And I'll switch back over to reflectivity, which you're used to seeing on TV. And you can see very heavy rain in those purple colors, just torrential downpours. I've been under some of these storms today, and they are gully washers. Just some people call them frog stragglers. Not the best to drive through. Several reports of people pulling over the side of the road as the storms pass by. So McCracken County, you're about done with that storm. But let's zoom out here and look to the west. Moving through Pulaski County back into Massac County, moving through Alexander, Pulaski, down here into Scott, Mississippi, and Ballard, new thunderstorms with very heavy rain. So this could briefly flood some roadways, and if you get a couple of storms in a situation like this, you can quickly pick up an inch or two of rain. So you want to be careful with that and avoid flooded roadways. Let's zoom out a little bit, and you see here this red zone that you might be seeing that shaded. That's the tornado watch. Again, we're not overly concerned about tornadoes today. There's a low risk of 1 or 2 tornadoes. Primary concern today will be damaging wind gusts with the most intense thunderstorms. We'll turn that off. We'll go back here. I want to leave the warnings on though. And we can see here, we still have this warning. And if you're in Northwest Tennessee, we've got a couple of storms in Lake County, some heavy rain. But the severe thunderstorm warning continues for eastern Henry County. It does not include Paris, Tennessee. But as we zoom in here, Springfield, Old Springville, Sunnyside, Oakland, Spring Creek, Elkhorn, that area is under a severe thunderstorm warning and could have quarter-size hail, probably more like nickel-sized hail, and some strong wind gusts. We move up here. If you're in the Murray area, some heavy downpours moving back in. No warnings in this area. If you're in southeast Missouri, no warnings right now. We're just looking at some heavy rain and gusty winds with the most intense thunderstorms.
The Kentucky National Weather Service has issued a severe weather statement.
If you're not receiving the text alerts, then go to weathertalk.com and sign up for those. Getting ready to send out an update here on that Livingston, Crittenden, and Hardin and Pope storm. And Polk County's been cleared from that warning, but it does continue for Hardin, Crittenden, and Livingston counties, with a severe thunderstorm was located near Joey, or 13 miles west of Marion, Kentucky, moving northeast at 25 miles per hour. Again, the concern with that cell continues to be a few reports of damaging winds. Move back over here to the radar. I'm going to turn off the tornado watch so we can see a little bit better. Let me check your questions. Okay, we don't have any questions right now, so we'll just look at the overall view right now. We have some heavy thunderstorms moving through the region. The most intense storms are the ones with these warning boxes. We still have a warning for parts of Williamson, Saline, Johnson, and Polk County. Very heavy rain just moved through Vienna. It's raining in Vienna right now. Probably some strong wind gusts. Very heavy rain down here near Karnak and Belknap, Illinois as well. Torrential downpours. All that's moving towards I-24. So probably going to be some slow traffic until those storms pass. And then maybe some gusty winds with them. We'll switch over here. We haven't had any reports of wind damage today. Not seeing a lot of wind with this storm near Vienna, Simpson, and New Burnside, but maybe some strong wind gusts with it, 40, 50 miles per hour. We look at the Livingston storm, some gusty winds with it, maybe some hail, nickel size. And I did notice a little bit of wind. You see that bright blue area there in the green, north of Monkey's Eyebrow, west of Hillerman, New Grand Chain, moving into Massac County, northern Ballard County, and McCracken. That storm right there could be producing some strong wind gusts as well. No warning on it right now. So we zoom back out. Let's switch back over to what you're used to seeing, the reflectivity. And let me bring up that hail. I showed you hail earlier. And we see just pockets of where there might be some dime to nickel size hail in these storms. Here's that northern Livingston County near Berna. This one's in southern Polk County. No warning on it right now, but maybe some small, maybe the nickel size hail with it. Another little bit of hail here south of Calvert City, dime size hail possible with it. Another little hail core near Cairo, Illinois, maybe some nickel size hail with it. We haven't had a lot of hail reports today, and the freezing level is fairly high today in the atmosphere, so kind of skeptical that we're going to see much in the way of hail. This is nothing like the events we had back in March and April when we had widespread severe weather. This is more of a low-end severe weather risk, some gusty winds, and maybe some dime to nickel size hail, so not overly concerned. The tornado watch, we have a low end risk of tornadoes today. This is not an outbreak of tornadoes by any means, and so far we haven't had any tornado warnings. Let's hope that continues, but we could still have a tornado warning from this system for a brief spin up. We're not looking again at an outbreak. So we still have a few warnings in effect. It looks like the Henry County warning has expired. That storm's moving northeastward out of that warning box. And then we still have this severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Livingston, Crittenden, Pope, and Hardin counties in southern Illinois. We can see that right here in this orange box. So this storm here could produce some strong wind gusts, maybe 40, 50 mile per hour winds, isolated higher, and some nickel-sized hail. That warning will continue for a bit longer. And the Weather Service is continuing this other warning for parts of, looks like Williamson, Johnson, Saline, Polk counties, and maybe some isolated wind damage with it. Some very heavy rain moving back into Massac County, I see. We'll switch back over to velocity. I just want to check on that little area there, and maybe some strong wind gusts with it. Sometimes we watch these little notches or these line segments where you have this little notch here, inflow notch, and sometimes you can have rotation in areas like that, brief, but they can occur, and sometimes you can have a quick spin up. No warnings on that cell right now, but we'll keep an eye on it since I see that little feature there. Sometimes these pop up and dissipate within one radar scan and nothing comes of it, but we do keep an eye on it. If you are wondering about this evening's weather, once this line of storms or this area of storms moves through, we could still have some showers and thunderstorms this evening, but the severe weather risk will be limited as we move through the evening and overnight hours. We are watching again tomorrow for another risk of possible severe thunderstorms. We're not exactly sure how that one's going to unfold. Maybe a line of storms, maybe some scattered intense storms. So we have to keep an eye on tomorrow as well. And the SPC also has us in a risk on Sunday. Very low confident on Sunday. We were hoping the front would move further south, but we'll see. Let me check here the National Weather Service chat, getting a couple of messages there and see if they've got anything new for us. They were commenting on the atmosphere. They're just saying that the tornado threat is low. Some of the previous radar scans of the past hours showed some rotation, but barely anything at the lower levels. There is some low-level shear, but it's kind of displaced from the ongoing storms right now. So with that said, the primary risk, as we've mentioned, continues to be damaging wind gusts, and we'll keep watching the storms in case some of them start to rotate. But overall, the severe weather risk with this event is fairly limited. We've received no reports of severe weather today. We have received some reports of strong wind gusts and a few reports of hail, but we haven't received any actual severe weather reports. So that's the good news in this setup, and hopefully that will continue to be the case as we move through the afternoon hours. Okay. All right, just checking questions. Let me check to see if there's any questions over on Facebook as well while I'm here. Not seeing very many questions right now. Some of you are getting some very heavy downpours. These are gully washers and just 1 to 2 inches of rain in less than an hour. Really in less than 30 minutes is possible with the most intense thunderstorms. And I don't see any questions right now over on Facebook, so that's good. We'll go back to radar. Let's just give you an overview of what's going on. We have a few severe thunderstorm warnings in the area. One here in southern Illinois, parts of Williamson, Johnson, Saline, and Pope. And then we have this other warning, northern Livingston, parts of Crittenden and Hardin County. getting a new severe weather statement on the southern Illinois storms. So both of these warning boxes, there could be isolated wind damage within them, and there could be nickel-size hail, at most quarter-size hail. But hail is harder to come by today, bigger hail, because the freezing level is so high up in the atmosphere that we're really not able to produce those bigger hailstones like what we saw a few weeks ago when we had some of the biggest hail I've ever witnessed in this area. Honestly, even grapefruit size hail in a few spots, just almost unheard of in this area. This new severe thunderstorm warning update from Paducah was continuing in northwestern Pope, eastern Johnson, southwestern Saline County, and that is going to continue until 2:45 p.m. They're going to go ahead and cancel Union and Williamson County from that warning, as the worst of the storms have moved out of that area. The radar showed possible severe thunderstorms about 7 miles southeast of Creel Springs to near Dixon Springs to near New Columbia, which is in extreme northern Massachusetts County, moving east at 30 miles per hour. Now, they don't have Massachusetts County in this warning, but it's very close to northern Massachusetts County, as I showed you on radar. Again, let's zoom back in on that storm. The warning box is up here, but we do have some very heavy thunderstorms moving into Massachusetts County as well. This purple area, those are those torrential downpours I was telling you about, moving towards I-24, probably going to slow down traffic as they move through. We move back here and we look back here in McCracken County. Still some pockets of heavy rain, but look to the west, and we can go ahead and animate this. Look to the west. These new storms are moving east-northeast into McCracken County, back into Alexander, Pulaski County, Mississippi, Scott counties in southeast Missouri. Just some torrential rain, and this is starting to train over the same areas, so that's a concern. Anytime we see that, we know that we could have some pockets of flooding. Commonly flooded roadways could have issues, ditches could flood, and definitely these storms moving through southern Illinois are producing torrential rain, and so are these. And these are, again, training over the same area back into Ballard, parts of Alexander, Pulaski County, and then back here in southeast Missouri. So some very heavy rainfall totals possible with that. We have, looking at this storm cell near Calvert City, we see these little hook-like features. Sometimes we watch those carefully, especially when we have a little bit of wind shear. And we look at the wind and we can see this darker red zone. That is where some stronger wind gusts, maybe 30, 45 mile per hour winds, moving towards Grand Rivers, the northern parts of LBL. If you're camping, you're going to have some issues with some heavy downpours, strong gusty winds with that cell. And then we have numerous cells, Benton down to Murray, Hazel, Purrier, in that area. These are all moving east-northeast at about 30 miles per hour. And no warnings on those right now, so that's good. If you're in northwest Kentucky, Morganfield, Henderson, Owensboro, all of this is moving your way, so you'll want to monitor updates. You guys are not in the tornado watch, but remember, the Weather Service always says in and near the tornado watch or in or near the severe thunderstorm watch. Those areas need to monitor as well. So you're just one county away. So we could still have warnings, just like we had Williamson County's not in the tornado watch, but they had a severe thunderstorm warning earlier. So we could still have severe thunderstorm warnings even outside the tornado watch. But again, this is a low-end severe weather event. We're not overly concerned about a widespread severe weather or tornadoes. This is just a lower-end severe weather event where we could have a few reports of damaging wind, a few reports of hail, and as I mentioned, so far we haven't had any reports of severe weather, so that's the good news thus far. We'll continue to monitor, and there could be still a few more warnings issued. If you're not receiving the alerts and you want to receive them, then make sure you go to weathertalk.com. You can sign up for them there, and you'll get them straight on the Beau Dodson weather app. If you want to receive a phone call when a severe thunderstorm warning is issued, then go to tornadocall.com, and this will call you if you're in the tornado warning or severe thunderstorm warning polygon, big word there, but a box. If you're inside the warning box, warning polygon, you'll get a phone call. If you're outside of it, it won't bother you. You won't get a phone call. I love this service. I've used it for years, and sometimes it's actually faster than the weather radios. So it will call you if you're in a warning. And a lot of people have signed up for this over the past year, and the comments online are they love it because they receive a phone call. And at 3 a.m. in the morning, you may not hear a ding on your phone, but you'll definitely hear your phone ringing. So go to tornadocall.com for that. And if you want to receive the Beau Dodson weather alerts that I've been sending out, go to weathertalk.com. And then, of course, you can find me on Facebook under Beau Dodson Weather. Just type in Beau Dodson Weather, and then Twitter and Blue Sky and elsewhere as well. Okay, so let's go back to radar, take a look at it. We don't have any tornado warnings right now. We do still have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. They've let the warnings expire down here from these storms. Those have expired. Ballard County, all those warnings have expired. But we do still have parts of Johnson, Saline, and Polk County just barely clipping Williamson County. They're about, let's see here, are we still within Williamson County? I think we're about out of that area. Mainly this area here. Let's zoom in a little bit. And we can see Simpson, Illinois, Glendale, Flatwoods, Gantown. Most of it is east of Vienna now, at least downtown Vienna. Maybe the eastern side of Vienna is still receiving some heavy rain. And that's your severe thunderstorm warning box there. And then we zoom over here to Livingston County and Hardin County and Crittenden, and we still have a severe thunderstorm warning box in this area here. And that does include Elizabethtown, Cave and Rock, Irma, Lola, this area here. We were seeing a big hail signature earlier, but that has gone away, and now it just shows dime to nickel-size hail and some strong and gusty winds. We look at the wind with it, and we still have some strong winds in this brighter pink area here, maybe some 40, 50 mile per hour winds. Up here, 30, 40 mile per hour winds. But sometimes when you have fully leafed trees, you can still have some wind damage, bring down a few tree limbs. And zoom back over here to Southern Illinois. There's that other warning box. And you can see where it's located: Abbott, Ozark, Simpson, Glendale, Flatwoods, that area, Dixon Springs. Maybe some strong wind gusts, very heavy rain with those storms. We look at reflectivity, and you can see the very heavy rain with those. Okay, so we don't have a lot of warnings right now. And again, this is a low-end severe weather event. We're really not anticipating much in the way of damage from these storms, but isolated wind damage and some isolated reports of large hail, large meaning quarter-size hail, nickel to quarter-size hail, will be possible with the most intense storms. We do have some spin in the atmosphere today, and that's why they issued the tornado watch. But honestly, we haven't had any tornado warnings. We haven't had anything that looked tornadic so far. So that's the good news. The wind shear is a little displaced. The Weather Service was just saying that it's a little displaced from the thunderstorms. So the wind shear is a little bit stronger outside of what we're seeing as far as where the most intense thunderstorms are. So that's the good news. Let's see, the Weather Service did just update. A severe thunderstorm warning for Pope, Eastern Johnson, and Saline will expire on time at 2:45 p.m. The storms have weakened a little bit and no longer pose a threat. So that warning is about to expire. It's in effect for another minute. So they're going to go ahead and let that warning expire as well. So that's good news. I just sent that app alert out on weathertalk.com as well. So you should be receiving that if you're in those counties. Look at radar here real quick, and so that warning has now expired for Saline, Polk County, and Johnson County. They're going to go ahead and let that expire. So we only have one warning left, and that's the one for Livingston County, Hardin, and Crittenden County. And honestly, that storm looks like it's moving below severe levels as well. We'll see if they reissue it. There is some wind signature here in this red zone, this brighter red zone that you see mixed in with all these reds. You see this zone right here. Maybe some strong and damaging wind gusts with it, but we'll see if they let that warning expire as well. If so, that would expire all the warnings. And I think the good news is that we haven't received any reports of severe weather, and so that's probably helping the Weather Service in their decision making on whether they continue these warnings or not. When we don't receive any severe weather reports, that's a good indication that maybe the storms are staying below severe levels. Let's look at the severe weather outlook for the next few days. So we do have the severe weather risk today, but as we move into the evening hours and overnight, the severe weather risk will wane and move off to the east. We look at tomorrow, and we're in a slight risk in the yellow zone, which covers most of the area, a marginal risk up here in this dark green, which is Owensboro. This could still shift around a little bit, but we are concerned that tomorrow we could have another line of storms, maybe some supercells. Some of the data show supercells with large hail and damaging wind and isolated tornado threat on Saturday. So if you have outdoor plans on Saturday, have a plan B and just be prepared in case severe weather does develop. And if you have a plan B, you'll be prepared for whatever happens. And then we look at the day 3. I was a little surprised this morning to see that the National Weather Service, the Storm Prediction Center, had placed the center risk on Sunday. So let's keep an eye on this as well. Scattered thunderstorms on Sunday. We're in a marginal low level 1 risk over most of the region. Slight risk back here. We do have a second cold front coming through on Sunday night and Monday, and that could bring in some additional storms from the northwest late Sunday night and Monday morning. So we'll keep an eye on that, but we could have scattered severe weather on Sunday as well. I'm, again, not overly confident about the Sunday forecast. Let's keep an eye on that, and I'll update accordingly on the app as more information comes in. I'll know a little bit more about that tomorrow. It looks like I just got an update from the National Weather Service. They're going to go ahead and canceling the warning for Hardin, Crittenden, and Livingston counties. That storm has also weakened below severe levels. So this is good news. We now do not have any severe weather warnings remaining in my forecast area. We switched to the Hopkinsville radar, and we see this line of thunderstorms moving northeast out of West Tennessee. This will eventually move into parts of Trigg, Christian, and Todd counties, and we could have some severe weather from it, some damaging wind gusts. We'll keep an eye on that, so we could have additional warnings from that area. But the good news is that the Weather Service is going to let all of the warnings expire for Southern Illinois, West Kentucky, Southeast Missouri, and Northwest Tennessee. Can't rule out, a couple of these storms perking back up to severe levels. But the main concern right now is locally heavy rain, gusty winds, and maybe some small hail. The heaviest storm on radar right now are the ones in Northwest Tennessee moving northeast, will eventually move into the Hopkinsville area, parts of Trigg, Christian, and Todd counties, as mentioned. And then we still have this very heavy rain producer south of Harrisburg. We zoom into that area, and you can see here this purple area. That is some torrential rain. An inch or two of rain in 30 minutes underneath that. Thankfully, it's moving along, so anybody underneath it's only under it for 5 to 10 minutes, but it is really producing some torrential downpours. And I've been under some of these storms today, and they are definitely goalie washers, what I call goalie washers, just straight down rain, pouring, very low visibility in the most intense cells. And this is moving towards Cottage Grove, Equality, Somerset area. Again, not severe right now, but producing some very heavy rain. So all warnings have expired. I wanted to experiment with the live today. It's kind of a low-end event, so I don't have quite as much going on. And I wanted to try the live and do the radars and see if I could get it up and running. And we were able to do that. So I appreciate you joining in to watch and ask questions. Let me see if there's any questions left. I don't. If you're camping in Trigg County tonight, so if you're camping in Trigg County tonight, once all this moves through, now we've got several more hours of on and off showers and thunderstorms moving through. I can animate this and show you how they're moving. If you're camping in Trigg County tonight, then you should be okay. I can't rule out isolated storms overnight, but really it looks like the atmosphere will be worked over by that time. And so anything that forms would be isolated, and we don't expect severe weather tonight. We will watch tomorrow morning and afternoon for additional thunderstorms. We'll have to see if another complex forms in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Missouri and moves our way, and the timing on that. There's some questions about the timing tomorrow. Also, some high resolution data shows some supercells forming tomorrow afternoon. So we'll just need to watch the data and monitor it tonight, and I'll know tomorrow morning and send out some app alerts about that concerning whether we have another threat tomorrow. But excuse me, right now we are in a level 1 risk of severe weather, level 1 and 2 risk severe weather tomorrow. That's a marginal and slight risk across the region. And the Storm Prediction Center does expect a few more severe thunderstorms. The primary concern tomorrow, again, will be damaging wind and then nickel-sized hail and maybe an isolated tornado risk. So for the rest of this afternoon, we do still have the tornado watch. Now, the Weather Service could cancel that early if they think the threat is ended, but for now, they're not going to cancel it while we still have storms moving through, of course. But we do have that tornado watch for extreme southern Illinois and then parts of western Kentucky, except for the far northwestern counties of Union, Henderson, and Davies. But you could still have severe thunderstorms in that area. And then the tornado watch continues into part of the Missouri Boot Hill, Dunklin County, New Madrid, Stoddard, Scott, Mississippi, Bollinger, Cape Girardeau, and all of northwest Tennessee. As the storms move through, I suspect that the tornado watch will be canceled early. It actually goes until 8 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock now, but I do suspect that the watch will be canceled earlier as storms come to an end. So if you've got overnight plans, this will all be moving out over the coming hours, and that will leave us with just a few showers and thunderstorms to deal with overnight, and then we'll watch tomorrow's. So I think that answers all the questions. Okay, so all the warnings have expired, so I'm going to sign off here. If you want to receive the app alerts, go to weathertalk.com. I do send those out when a warning is issued, and you'll get those immediately on the Beau Dodson weather app. And if you want a phone call when a severe thunderstorm or tornado warning is issued, go to tornadocall.com. So that's tornadocall.com for the phone calls, and then you can go to weathertalk.com to sign up for my Beau Dodson weather alerts, and you'll get the severe thunderstorm warnings, the tornado warnings, severe weather statements, and you'll also receive severe weather outlooks. I've been sending out updates over the last couple of days concerning all of this weather that we've got ongoing in the region right now.